So the Eagles win, or should I say they escape. They escape Tampa Bay, beating the Buccaneers, excuse me, 31-25. And I use that word escape because the Buccaneers, they were gaining on them in that game. They were pulling up on them fast. This game was really kind of like a reversal of last week against the Rams. Last week, the Eagles started out putrid on offense. We couldn't get anything going. It got to the point where they got booed off of the field. And then in the second half, they turned everything around, and they start to get more offensive flow going, and they wake up and they show us what kind of offense they can be. And it led to us winning the game. This time, against the Buccaneers, the Eagles started out fast, started out as perfect, as close to perfect as you can be. They were flowing offensively, they were moving the ball, they were taking what they wanted. Everything was gravy. And then in the second half, they went dead, quite literally. They were not moving, they were not generating any kind of offense. They looked out of sync. It was really kind of like a disappearing act that the Eagles put up. It wasn't good. And the Buccaneers, to their credit, because the 3 games that they won this year coming into this game, they were known as kind of like the comeback kids. They would pull, some last quarter, last minute heroics, and they would come back into the game and they would, tie it or win it in overtime or regulation. And they were very much on the verge of doing that today, or doing that on Sunday. But fortunately, the Eagles defense, they made a pick. They made a play when they had to, by Jahad Campbell making a pick. The one thing about Baker Mayfield, as good as he's been playing, is that he is a gambler. He is a risk taker, and he would put the ball in harm's way, and that's what he did there in the fourth quarter. He was flushed out of the pocket, trying to make a play, trying to extend it and make something happen, and Jahad Campbell just happened to be Johnny on the spot, or Jahad on the spot, and he was able to make a big play to thwart that drive. And the Eagles special teams comes through again, and that really turned out to be the difference in the game. We didn't know it at the time, but the Eagles special teams comes up with another big blocked punt, and this time it's Sidney Brown who's credited with the return. So the other phases of the team are really contributing for us and helping us to get these big victories. From an offensive standpoint, the elephant in the room that everyone seems to be talking about, in spite of us being 4-0, in spite of us, being one of the only 2 teams that's still undefeated in the league, is about the lack of passing offense, specifically the lack of A.J. Brown's involvement in the game, or I should say in the game plan. A.J. Brown only had 2 catches for 7 yards. Devontae Smith did not have a big game either. He had 2 catches for 29 yards. Our leading receiver was Dallas Goedert, four catches for 37 yards, and he scored twice. Jalen Hurts, 15 of 24, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, aforementioned touchdown passes to Dallas Goedert. So that's really what people are talking about. And Saquon Barkley did not have a good game either. Statistic-wise, 19 carries, 43 yards. He did score a touchdown on a phantom tush push, but so that kind of buoys his stat line a little bit. But Saquon Barkley has yet to get going. The offense has really yet to get going. We've only really had one good half of offensive football, and that was the second half, the 2 quarters that we played in the second half against the Rams. And the offense, it's safe to say that the offense is not playing well. The offense, there's a lot to be desired there. Jalen Hurts has yet to throw an interception, so he's proven himself to be adept at taking care of the football. Man, sorry, my throat is really scratchy. I don't know what's going on. But getting back to the topic, the offense it's not performing at the way that it could be. I admit that. Two stud receivers, a stud tight end, a stud running back, a stud quarterback. The offense should be performing better. Now I'm one of those people who is patient, maybe to a fault, but I'm patient because first of all, we're 4-0. I mean, you can't ask for a more direct result than that. We've won 4 games. Have they been pretty games? No. Have they been convincing? No. Have we imposed our will on other teams? No. But we're 4-0. The Eagles have not reached their full potential yet. We're just now coming into the month of October. The Eagles have yet to realize their offensive potential. Now, Saquon Barkley, he was. I think we all expected him to have a kind of a regression. I mean, 2,000 yards, to follow that up with another big season, 2,000 yard even, it's almost impossible. Not when you have the kind of carries and have the kind of production that he had last year. It's just not possible. But he has yet to rush for 100 yards in a game this season. He does have 3 touchdowns, but again, the offense, his production isn't what we expected. I'm pretty certain that we expected a little bit more than this. The offensive line is not great. And they even said as much. Jordan Mailata said that the offensive line they haven't been playing well. I believe is kind of what he alluded to. Landon Dickerson, he's still dealing with injuries. Listen, it could be a lot better. It could. And AJ Brown, I don't. This is really a really frustrating thing to talk about because I can't remember a team that was 4-0. I can't remember a team that was 4-0 coming off of a Super Bowl victory that the discussion centered around anything but their 4-0 record. It's people talk about the Eagles, and they're not talking about the fact that we beat the Cowboys, that we beat the Chiefs, that we beat the Rams, that we now beat the Buccaneers. We're not talking about, who our opponents is and what we need to do on a weekly basis, or at least that's not the first thing that they're talking about. We're talking about the I guess you can say lack of harmony in the locker room, the disgruntlement of some of our players, particularly AJ Brown. Now, I like I said last time, man, I understand AJ Brown's plight. I understand where he's coming from. I understand, that he wants to be more involved in the offense. But again, you have to exercise some patience. That's what I would say to AJ Brown. You have to exercise patience. This thing is going to take off. AJ Brown is a great receiver, and his time is coming. His time is coming. Devontae Smith, his time is coming. Devontae Smith, he hasn't even scored yet. If I recall correctly, Devontae Smith does not have a score to his name so far in 2025. And he is not, at least not to the public, he's not complaining. Devontae Smith, I don't even think Devontae Smith has a 50-yard game to his 2025 campaign. He might have broken 50 against Kansas City, but that was it. Devontae Smith, he's kind of like the forgotten man in all of this Eagles' lack of offense. He has just as much reason, if not more, to voice his complaints, to voice his frustrations about the offense's lack of harmony. Listen, Devontae Smith, he's probably one of the most celebrated receivers at his age. He's only 27 years old. 26. I think he'll be 27 later on this season. He's 26 years old. He's won 2 national championships. He's won a Heisman Trophy. And he's won a Super Bowl. He's won a Super Bowl championship to his name. If anyone has any reason to complain, it's him. But he's been a model citizen through all of this. And I think that he's going to continue to be a model citizen because that's just the kind of player that he is. But if he were frustrated, I would understand it too. So I get where AJ Brown is coming from. I do. And to be honest, I want him to be more involved in the offense too. Of course, for my own selfish purposes, because I have him on several fantasy teams. Like I mentioned before, I spent a high draft pick on AJ Brown. So I want AJ Brown to be more involved too. But when your top receiver is involved more, it creates good vibes in the locker room. And everybody's happy. Nobody is walking on eggshells. Nobody is trying to dodge or duck or try to avoid smoke. Having to do all that around somebody is not a good environment. So I want AJ Brown to be more involved, and I believe that he will get more involved. But at the end of the day, we're 4-0, man. I know that seems like a cop-out argument. I know it seems like, that's the easy way out. But I mean, it is what it is. We've won 4 games. We've won 19 of our last 20 football games that we played. We're 4-0, and we haven't even really played cohesive football yet. We haven't gelled. We haven't, you know, been as sharp as we could be. And we're winning football games. We're finding ways to win. So, I don't want to be callous and say something like, get over it, because I think that would be ignorant, and that would be disrespectful to a man's plight, especially a player who's as talented and who's as gifted and who is as important to our football team as AJ Brown is. But, bruh, we're winning, man. The money is green. We're playing with big bills. We're not chump change over here. And this thing will get figured out. I'm 100% confident that everything will get ironed out. And then come week 15, week 16 in the playoffs, when we're very likely hoisting up that Lombardi trophy again in February, we're going to look back on this. We're going to look back on this ridiculous timeline in Eagles history, and we're going to be like, man, what were we upset about?
You guys can eat.
What was the problem?
Nothing.
It's going to be all good. I trust it. We just have to give it time. Like I said, and like I've been hearing, for the first few weeks of an NFL season are kind of like a feeling out process. I've heard that from guys who played in the NFL, from guys who had great careers, some even Hall of Famers. You're not going to have things figured out by week 3 or week 4. Heck, some teams don't figure out things until week 12 or 13, until Thanksgiving. So we all have to be patient with this thing, because we were at this. We were at a similar juncture at this point in the season last year. And look how it turned out. We got to give it time. That's my feeling on the matter. We have to give this time. We have to give this time. I'm seeing people talking about, AJ's a malcontent. His tweet that he put out, it's bad for business, and that part I agree with. If AJ has a problem, he should have kept it in house. Speak your mind, let out your frustrations, talk to the people in charge. Don't put it out on social media, because it's out there now, and when people see a story, especially us, because we're the defending champions, and people kind of are already turning against us because of this whole tush push business. So people are already gunning for us. They already have a scope on the Eagles. And now you put this out, people are going to take it and they're going to run with it, and they're going to look for anything that they can do to try and sabotage our season. And so that's led to people talking about trading AJ Brown, getting rid of him. That's premature. It's premature, man. Don't trade AJ Brown because of peer pressure or fan pressure or pressure from the player himself. Don't do that. That would be a big mistake. We just have to let this thing ride out. It's the NFL. It's a long season. It's a grind. these things are going to happen. These valleys are bound to come up in throughout the season. This is a valley, although it really shouldn't be, because again, we've won 4 games in a row. We haven't really, you know, experienced any major bumps in the road yet. Everybody's healthy. Everybody is playing well enough to help us win football games. We haven't hit our peak yet. We haven't hit our stride. We're doing everything right from a football standpoint, and this is the narrative. This is what's dominating Philadelphia sports. This is what's really dominating nationwide sports, because this storyline is on talk shows, and it's on, you know, debate shows and all that other stuff, and it really shouldn't be. I mean, this it was kind of talked about before, but it's kind of boiling over now, and it's really a glorified distraction, is what it is. But we have to give it time. We have to let this thing roll, man. We have to. We can't get caught up in, you know, the media circus and people trying to plant ideas and trying to cause division over something that, in the grand scheme of things, is really a minor issue. We can't let it happen. We have to give it time. That's my take on it. We have to give it time. I don't want to trade AJ. I'm pretty sure that the Eagles don't want to either. He means too much to us, to our football team. AJ, he's got to he's got to reel it in. He's got to dial it in. His time is coming. I believe it. I trust it. But the Eagles, and the Eagles this past week, even though AJ Brown only had 2 catches, the Eagles were forcing the ball to him. They were trying their darndest to get him the ball. They were feeding him in situations. I think one series they went to him 2 or 3 consecutive times. It was incomplete passes. The Bucks they played us well. They brought pressure a lot of the time in Jalen's face before Jalen could really, you know, set his feet and deliver a catchable ball. So it's not as though AJ's cries are falling on deaf ears. We're definitely trying to get him the football. We did it in the Rams game, and we tried to do it in against the Buccaneers, and we're going to try to do it next week. Although next week he's going to be likely lined up against one of the reigning defensive player of the year in Pat Surtain. So that's going to be a challenge, but I'm pretty sure that they're going to try and make AJ a focal point of the passing game next week as well. So the Eagles are trying to do now. Don't do it at the expense of the team to where you ignore everybody else. AJ's contributing to this, but the Eagles they have a share in this. They have a job to do as well. I'm not saying capitulate to AJ 100%, but you know, let's open up the offense more, and that's on Kevin Patullo, who I'm still going to be patient with, who I'm still going to trust to make things happen, because he deserves at the very least, you know, a season to try and, you know, make his mark in the NFL as a coach. So AJ, just relax, bro. The Eagles, let's put a little pep in our step, and let's all get back to being one big happy family again. Because I don't want this thing to linger, and I don't want this thing to derail our chances of winning another Super Bowl. Because right now we're on that trajectory. We record wise, we've had a great start to the season. We've won 4 games. We haven't been sharp, but we're winning games. And when we are sharp, when it finally all does come together, we're going to be unstoppable in my opinion. So that's what I feel needs to happen. That's what I think that's what I think should take place there. Pull it back, AJ. Eagles. You know, be more creative. Scheme guys open. Because once the passing game opens up, everything else, or vice versa, when the running game opens up, everything else follows suit. So it was a gritty win against the Buccaneers. They weren't at full health, but I mean, no excuses for them. They fought their way. I give them credit. They fought their way back into the game. It was a close affair, like I thought it would be. I had the Eagles winning 21-17. They ended up winning 31-25. I give them credit. They pushed us, and the Eagles are finding ways to win. And I think that they're going to be better for it later on down the stretch. When we finally put together a complete game, like I know we're capable of, and we just clobber a team, it's going to be great to see. It's going to be awesome. So that's another thing. The Eagles, we're talking about this the sideshow, and we're not even talking enough about the fact that the Eagles got their revenge against the Buccaneers. Jalen Hurts got his revenge against Todd Bowles, who had been his he had been the Darth Vader to Jalen Hurts, Luke Skywalker, for the last several years, and Jalen had his he had his Return of the Jedi moment against Todd Bowles, and we're not talking about that enough because of other stuff. So this was a real good win for the Eagles. They had a lot of challenges traveling, playing in the heat, playing in a place where they hadn't played well the last couple of years. All of this was great to see the Eagles respond to and play well. Got another big game coming up this weekend. I'll talk more about that on a Friday forecast, and hopefully all the other subplots, all the other side stories can be addressed rather quickly, so that we can get back to what's most important, and that's playing winning football. So we're 4-0 at the end of the day. Like I said, that's what matters to me. We won 4 out of 4 games of the season, and each win is important. I don't want to minimize how, the importance of each victory, because each game that you win, it brings you one step closer to your goal. So let's keep it rolling. Let's keep the good vibes going. Keep the good energy going, please, and just continue to focus on winning football games. And when you win football games, that's ultimately what everybody wants. At least I hope that's what everyone wants. Focus on winning football games, and I believe that all the other stuff that will be solved, that will be taken care of in the long run. That's what I believe, that's what I hope. That's what I think the Eagles are capable of, and I'm looking forward to seeing how they overcome this unnecessary self-inflicted snag in their season. I think they'll do it. I'm looking forward to seeing how they go about doing it.